Good morning, YouTubers. It is a lovely July 20th. Doing my weekly garden update for you. We're going to be checking out a bunch of things and actually doing some more harvesting, which is always a good thing. It's pretty early in the morning still. It's about 9:30. I'm trying to get out of here pretty early because in the afternoon it is getting hot, and I don't like to do all this stuff when it's really hot in the afternoon. So I'll show you what we got going on. So the watermelon is absolutely running up this trellis at this point. It's actually working really pretty nicely. I just wish that I was starting to see some female flowers. Hopefully those will start showing up soon. Most of my other melon-like things, like your cucumbers and stuff, you know, they put out the male flowers for a while, and then eventually those female flowers start coming out. So hopefully those are on the way soon. So I've got my last rounds of heads of broccoli that are starting to be close to ready. That one's forming. This one should start forming a head soon. This one over here is forming a head. And I think that after all of my heads are done, I'm going to pull out these guys that I've already harvested. I know that they may make these side shoots, and some of them are starting to, but I just don't know what I'm going to actually get out of here. And I'd prefer to put something else in. I think I might tear everything else out once all these heads get formed, and put some. See, this is one where it's really starting to form another head there. Maybe put some peas in here or something like that. This big empty space is where I harvested all those beets from, and those looked absolutely beautiful. I haven't actually eaten them. I've cooked them, but we have not actually eaten them all yet. I've eaten a couple of them, but I have not eaten the rest of them. But those were Burpee's golden beets. They were terrific. And everything else, all these little seedlings are coming along nicely. In the world of hot peppers, things are very good. We are picking these guys all the time for cooking. My wife cooks with these probably every day, and we just come out, snip them. We've been giving them to our friends. They have just been really good producers for us, and the more that we're picking them, the more that we're seeing these like nice little flowers open up, which is telling us that we're going to be making more. So that has been just excellent. Really good. On the other pepper front, these peppers are just getting, these are the mini red bell peppers. And this little plant, even though these are tiny, they are absolutely just tons and tons of peppers on here. I'm not going to harvest these guys yet. I'm going to let them start to turn color a little bit more before I start pulling them out. Other peppers in here, the pimento peppers are getting nice and big. If I can find those for you. There's a couple down there. There's a big one over here I know somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. So here's one of those pimento peppers. These are supposed to be a little bit sweet and a little bit spicy, so I'm excited to try those out. I'm sorry it's hard to see. They're in there. And then all the way over here are bell peppers, the big guys. We're going quite a bit. I'm going to be harvesting a bunch of those today once I finish this video up, so you can see those guys in there. They're getting to be a good size. And I got a bunch of them on plants there, and we're going to go ahead and snip those off, see if we can get those to produce a little bit better for us. Now, here's going to be one of the big harvest things today, and that is these dragon tongue bush beans. I've been picking these every like 3 to 4 days, and they are just going like gangbusters. If you can see, these are pretty, considering how recently I've picked these are really good size. Oh, here's a bumblebee doing his, oh, I just missed him. He just went in there. So these dragon tongue bush beans are just beautiful, and I'm picking them just in mass. And I mean, they just, as soon as I pick them, I see this again in like 2 days, where you have just a whole bunch of these guys making more beans. And it's kind of nice that they're purple, to be honest, because it does make it really easy to find them when you're looking, because they don't match the rest of the foliage. So that makes it a lot easier. The okra update, even though we are starting to have a little bit of pods on the okra, I think the okra might come out because I just don't think it's going to produce enough at a time with the number of plants that I have here. I think I probably would need to have about 50 plants to be able to harvest it and eat it in the right time. So I think the okra might be a bust for us here. Here are our Isis candy cherry tomatoes. As you can see, we are ripening wonderfully on the vine here. A whole number of these are just getting ripe, and we've been eating them last week and before that too, but I'm starting to harvest a little bit more at a time as opposed to the random one cherry tomato. These are the sweet pea currant cherry tomatoes, and we have been harvesting these like crazy. There have been tons of them, and they are ripening at a really fast pace, and they are, like I said before, a very tasty tomato. So those are getting harvested quite a bit. Brandywines, I have one up here that is starting to blush. Just yesterday maybe it started. So hopefully those are going to start getting ripe soon. Plants have got a good amount of them on there. Maybe not as much as I'd like, but still looking really good. Everybody's getting big over here. I probably need to do another trellis up. I'm going to be needing to use a ladder at this point to be able to get to trellis these up high enough now at this point, because they are well above my head now. Yeah, I'd say it's probably almost over an arm's length above my head, some of them. And I'm about just under 6 foot tall. So that's how they're looking. Alright, so I saved the best for last year. These are our cucumbers, and I've been harvesting at least one of these a day on average. And I'm going to have to harvest a bunch of them because I don't want these to keep getting too big. But you can see we've got just loads of them. And everything from small, medium to large. That one's actually smaller. It's just really, really close to the camera. But I've been giving a bunch of friends these and eating them, and they are absolutely terrific. And you can see, once they really get going, you start having plenty of cucumbers. They are a super fun one to grow. They really are. The kids come out here and they do the little cucumber hunt, because you see they're all tucked away back in here. The trick with the cucumbers is you got to make sure that you keep picking them. It's just like the beans. The more you pick them, the more they're going to produce. So once they start getting bigger, you really want to make sure that you're taking them off, because then they'll keep giving you more cucumbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, I'll show you this. This is beautiful. These are the flowers of the okra. To be honest, I think it's the coolest thing about the okra plant at this point. It's just pretty amazing how pretty they are. A whole row of those would be really, really nice to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and do a big bunch of harvest here, and then we'll go from there. That's the garden update. I'll show you what the haul looks like in just a minute. Alright, so here's the harvest. So here's our dragon tongue bush beans. This is my third harvest of these guys, and this is the biggest by far. They got a little bit away from me. They're a little bit bigger than I was hoping, but they, I'm sure, will still be terrific. And you can see that purple color does make it a lot easier to pick. When you're harvesting your bush beans, you got to just dig into the plants. Just feel free to just grab them and rough them up, and you got to just find those plants, because the more you pick, the better you do. Here's a bunch of hot peppers for cooking. Here's a bunch of jalapenos. Here's a whole bunch of green bell peppers. And then here is my cucumber haul. So there's a whole bunch of cucumbers. Let's see here if I can grab this one. This is by far the biggest one. Really, really a nice looking cucumber. So very good. So that's the haul for the day. Calling it a successful one. We're going to see a bunch of our friends. So hopefully they will like getting some installments of fresh veggies. Take care. Have an excellent day, everybody.